and the contrast is striking because it's this clarity and sort of space around the instruments and the realism. So today I'm just going to record me speaking about sound and the philosophy behind the sound systems and the solutions I create. And much of that is about this realism and clarity. This sound is a result from the sound system and the room and the placement and of course also the source material, the recording. Maybe we should take a brief trip around and look at how this sound is created and what defines and what makes the sound, what is significant, what is important for sound quality and the sound character. Let's do that. Music starts here on media computer. It's that is what works as a streamer. Actually, music doesn't start here. It starts on the NAS, on the server. Comes through this Ethernet cable into the streamer machine here. It's set up so that it works reasonably well. It's supposed to deliver a bit perfect digital signal on the HDMI output, which goes to the processor. There. And now we are playing something. It's hi-res from it's Puente Celeste, playing the Nama album. It's an excellent album, perhaps the best recording I have on my disc. From Amma Recordings. Excellent sound quality. It is possible today to buy electronics off the shelf that works reasonably well and can deliver a perfect audio signal out to the power amplifier. So the signal goes from the processor, comes into here, into this Gurion, which powers the front main speakers. And the thing about this is that if I now go into here and connect something to record the signal at the speaker terminals, you will not be able to distinguish the recording of this from the original. That's the way this system is made. So all of the sound character comes from the speaker and from the room acoustics and from the way it is set up. The position of the speakers and the listening position. So we had a perfect signal until we got to the speaker terminals. So the speaker is the most important for the sound character. The room and the room acoustics, what can that do? You can have more reflective surfaces, reflections, primarily by adding diffusers like this one in the room, and then that will create a more spacious, a softening of the sound. We have diffusers on and reflective surfaces, primarily only reflective surfaces at the back of the room. Then in the ceiling we have absorption panels. Also the front wall, how that is done acoustically. In the other room where we have a big screen in the center, that limits what is possible to do because you have a flat surface. So you don't have absorption and you don't have diffusion. You have no control of the reflective surface with the big screen. So if your system is a combined music and media system, then you're screwed, sort of, because you can't change that. So you have to live with that. So the processor also has does digital crossover, so the bus system signal goes into this one, this here. Then we have where the bus comes out. It's a V110 compact horn subwoofer. We also have two V6030 compact horn subwoofers. I had them, so I tried them and set them up here. They don't do much, but they do a little bit. They fix lack of energy in the upper mid-bass region. So that was the sound system in room 2. Which is then mainly a completely transparent sound into the speakers, and then the speakers and the room and the placement creates the sound. That's how it is. This has to be experienced. How did my journey towards this sound start? It started at a very young age when I discovered for building my first real speakers that actually worked. I discovered that speakers sounded different, very different. When you turn up the volume, something happens. A sound doesn't need to be perfect. And especially in our age with measurements and computers and so on readily available now, it is easy to fall into the trap that you measure something and you have to tune it to a completely flat frequency response. Because that's the graph you understand, you think you understand, you don't understand all the other things, so you just ignore that and adjust, and then, okay, it's perfect. And after a while, you realize that something is indeed lacking in the sound. On typical systems, bass guitar, this is bass instrument. It's not a guitar. A bass like this, it usually floats around in the whole room sort of, and it's not a defined instrument. Here it is a defined instrument with a specific size. It has width and depth and height, and of course you have this sense of dynamics even for this simple instrument, and it sounds very real. It sounds present in the room. Why does the bass sound good when I have a separate bass system? That is because it is calibrated properly, it's set up properly, and you start with decent subwoofers, decent bass reproduction from the beginning. In many systems I have set up, there are very small, minor corrections only to the frequency response and the response of the subwoofers, because it already sounds nice, great. The sound here in Room 2 is you have this transparency and realism and accuracy, but it's not overly soft, and it's not it's not a room that is very wide and huge and large. The soundstage is sort of narrow. This has to do with the room and the placement of the speakers. You retain the timbre of the instrument, the sound that is inherent in the instrument itself. So those drums they are supposed to have this boom sound, but it's the boom sound from the drum, it's not the boom sound from the room. Yeah. And then the vocal, it's present in the room. And it's like it's a vocal with a presence and a space around it, and it has this solidity, so that it's not just a voice that is placed in the center. It's someone singing, a physical person. If you want to achieve more of this in your own sound system, the first thing you should try is to move your speakers away from the walls. Get some distance between the speaker and the front wall, and you will experience that the soundstage really opens up. That is of course something you can do regardless of if you have treated your room or not, if it's good or bad acoustics, it doesn't matter. It will be an improvement regardless. And if you manage to also try to move little bit closer, sit closer to the speakers, that also reduces the impact from the room. So what about multi-channel compared to two-channel stereo? Because when you have a two-channel stereo, and you can't have sound filling the room and sound at the sides and at the back and so on, can you? Well, you can. But the accuracy of the soundscape depends on where you are sitting. It only works very well in the center position when I'm sitting exactly where I'm sitting now. I can move my head, and that doesn't affect. It doesn't collapse if I move my head around. And that is also quite important. That has mostly with the speakers, properties of the speakers, to be able to present sufficiently wide sweet spot, so you don't need to be placed exactly like this. If I do like this, and bad sound. Works, bad sound. Works. Maybe my head is in the wrong position now. Okay, there it is. That's not working. We have to be able to move around and still have a reasonably good sound. Also, precision is something that perhaps is misunderstood, because real instruments playing in a real room, they don't necessarily sound exactly very precise in location. That depends on the instrument and the setting, of course, the room of where the recording is done. This is the famous Nublado from the Emma recording. It's Cero una noche. It's from Argentina. It's this thing about dynamics. Dynamics isn't just in the bass. It's across the whole frequency range. Also at the very highest frequencies. And as with most things, it's often compromise. We have to choose. So we have to sacrifice some of the spaciousness and softness to get this dynamic and precise high frequency reproduction that F25 speakers can deliver. Listen to this, this is so great. And what makes loudspeaker design so interesting is this combination of the technical challenges combined with how we perceive sound. It is connected in a way. So it's an artistic part that goes into creating, deciding what sound do I want, and also in the assessment when building the speaker and listening to it. Did I achieve what I want? And then the technical challenge to be able to make adjustments and choose technical solutions to be able to create the sound that I want to have. What makes this experience of the Nublado special, part of that experience, and it's a crucial part of it, is the tactile feel of the drums. And the different drums has a different tactile feel. And an excellent audio system is able to convey and reproduce this. So we have this sense of realism and power. And that is the difference between the speaker systems that I make and a typical hi-fi speaker that you buy in a shop. It doesn't have this realism and impact on the dynamics and transients. The artistic part of this is then to be able to actually identify and know how this is supposed to be. To know that, yes, this drum, it should feel like that, and then you have a different drum, it should feel like that. Even if you don't feel anything, it's just loud sound, it's just noise, and doesn't give you that excitement, that drive in music. And that is very, very special in this recording from Amma Recordings. To be able to get this solidity and dynamics, and tactile, physical feel of the drums on the F25, you need a very powerful amplifier. So unfortunately the Class A had to go. You need something like the Gurion. The larger F2 speaker that you can see behind the F25. It's much larger speaker. And this speaker can also reproduce transients and dynamics like the F25. And since it is a larger speaker, it doesn't need so much power, because the efficiency is greater. It can also play louder. But F25 can play loud enough in this small room. Loud enough, that is a requirement. What do you need? You need 2 speakers, then you need a bass system. You don't need necessarily a larger system like the V110 system that I have in this room. If you don't play loud, you can have a small bass system. Then you need electronics, amplifiers and so on that can deliver what we define as transparent sound up to some level. But perhaps you have a preamplifier that you enjoy. You think that this preamplifier has a special sound that you enjoy. That's fine. Then that is the part in your sound system that is special, that creates this special thing. But you don't buy a streamer because it has good sound. You buy a streamer because it is convenient to use, it looks nice, and it works. The functionality is good. And the requirement for sound is that it has perfect output of the sound, regardless if it's digital out or if it's built in the dock inside it. I said you need a bass system. Well, that depends. You can, of course, use 2 speakers only and use them full range. That's how we did it back in the old days. And also how many people wants to do it now, because it's simpler and it's more pure, and you don't get that subwoofer bass. And having a lack of bass is far better than having subwoofer bass. So 2 speakers may also be an alternative. It won't be the same as with the bass system, but can work pretty well. Also depends on the room and if you have possibility to do any calibration for low frequency adjustments on the main speakers. That may actually help a bit, at least. The problem with the main speaker is that, as I mentioned earlier, to get better sound, move them out from the walls. But that represents a problem in the bass range, because then you have a distance from the speaker to the reflecting surfaces, because the surfaces, regardless of reasonably acoustic treatment, they will reflect the bass back. This will cause transient response to be lacking. Then there was the electronics and amplifiers. You need to fix the room. Good room acoustics does not improve the sound of the sound system. It only prevents the room from obstructing and destroying the sound potential that is already there in the sound system. Then you can play around a bit around preferences. If you prefer a more lively room, that is something that is possible to do. Just to add more diffusion. More diffusers in the ceiling, on the side walls, at the back, also on the front wall. Diffusion can be beneficial. Then you have a more lively room. The acoustics of the room will still be good, because the damping and the treatment works evenly across the whole frequency range. The recording of the music and all the audio in this session is not done with the recorder, so the sound quality is not like the recordings done with the recorder. The audio recordings for the music will be mixed in with audio from the Rode microphone, the stereo microphone, mounted on the camera. So I think we will round it off here and try to make a video out of this.